two straight lines can either meet once, they could not meet at all, so they'd be parallel, or they could be one on top of each other, so they'd meet multiple times, infinitely many solutions. And our job is to find out what situation that is. So looking at this first one, I can pretty much be guaranteed that they are not parallel. Why? Why are they not parallel? Yep. They have different slopes. So if I was to get y by itself, you know, that's going to be x divided by -3. And if I was to get y by itself here, it's going to be 2 over 7. So definitely not parallel because they're not the same slopes. Agreed? When it's in this form, when we've got an x equals or even a y equals, then we can use substitution. All right? So that would be that wherever y appears here, I'm going to substitute it. Oh, and I said y because that's what normally happens, but bad me. Because it's x equals, wherever x appears here, I'm going to replace it, substitute it with the thing that says x equals. Do we agree? So we're going to go 2x. Did it again. I just did with my other class. We did one with the y equals, so I've got that in my head, sorry. So 2 times x, but instead of x, x is? So we go 8, take 3y, take 7y, equals -10. We happily expand our brackets, yeah? Gather our like terms. So Lucas, do you have this in your book already? You should have this in your book already because this is just a quick rehash and then I'm going on. So we're just reminding you what we did last lesson and then we're going forth. So I didn't really want to finish this, but now I feel compelled. Get rid of the +16, take 16. How do I get rid of the times? -13. Divide, so we get y equals 2. You're not done. Sub it back in to get x. So we get x equals 3 times 2, so we get x take 6, which is 2. Correct? Right. So now we're going to look at, well, what happens if we haven't got an x equals and a y equals? You are quite capable of rearranging to get x by itself or y by itself, but what will happen? Eric, you shrugged, but what happens if you're trying to get y by itself here? What would you do? How could, I mean, everyone should be able to rearrange and get y by itself. Carter, we're watching up here, not in your book. So rearrange this one to get y by itself, please. Let's go. Right, you're going to put the 3x on the other side, so that becomes 2y equals -3x plus 7. And how do I get the y by itself? Divide by 2. So -3 over 2x plus 7 over 2. So if I now want to substitute that in here, it's doable, but messy. Messy, absolutely. You're going to have fractions all over the shop. So lucky for you, we come up with this other method called elimination. Okay, what does eliminate mean? Get rid of, and that's exactly what we want to do. We want to get rid of either the x or the y, and in order to do that, so you can eliminate and choose to get rid of either the x's or the y's, but to do that, they've got to have the same coefficient, so the same number in front. So is everyone happy that we choose to get rid of the x's? So you're asking yourself, what's a number that 3 and 2 both go into? 6. Happy with that? So what do we have to times 3 by to get to 6? 2. So Will, you haven't been here, but you can just do this without having done all the other stuff. This is really sweet. And what do I have to times 2 by to get to 6? Times by 3. Now, do you have to write these times 2 times 3? Yes, you do. So you know what you're doing and the reader knows what they're doing. Yes? All right, so you're writing this down and then we're going to times everything by 2. So this becomes 6x plus 4y equals 14. Then we're going to times this by 3, so that becomes 6x take 15y equals 33. Notice everything is nice and neat, straight underneath each other. Your neatness here will help you. Okay, it's at this point you have to make a decision. Are you going to add the equations together or subtract to make the x's disappear? 50-50 shot. It's not a mystery question. Well, if you add, what's 6x plus 6x? 12x. That hasn't made them disappear, has it? So you're going to subtract. Yeah, if we had, instead of gotten rid of the x's, we're getting rid of the y's, then we'd have to times by 5 and 2. So you'd have 15x plus 10y. What are we timesing by? 5, 35. Times that by 2. So we would have 4x take 10y equals 22. If you wanted to eliminate the y's, what would you have to do here? You wouldn't take then, would you? You would add, because 10y plus minus 10y is no y. They disappear. So it depends on the signs. If they're opposite signs, you add. If they're the same signs, you subtract. Anyway, we carry on. What is 6x take 6x? No x. What's 4y take 15y? 19. 14 take 33 is minus 19. Okay? And therefore, what would y be? -1. Nice. How are we going to get x? Slap it back into either one of these equations. Let's just go the bottom one. So it's going to be 2x minus 5 times minus 1 equals 11. So we've got 2x plus 5 equals 11. Therefore, 2x equals 6, x equals 3. So we look, and you've got to make a decision. Do you want to get rid of the x's or the y's first? There's no right or wrong. Yep. If you want to go, I just want to do x because it's first, go for it. Sometimes you'll go, even though that's the bigger number, I still want to get rid of the x's. So we'll have a look when we get to C. Anyway, what do we have to do in order to get rid of the x? Exactly. This has to be a 2, so we're going to times that by 2. So we're going to leave number 1 alone. So we're going to still write it, 2x. We're not timesing by 0. 1, yeah. And then we're going to pop the second equation underneath, nice and neat. So that's 2x take 6y equals 22. Okay, we make that decision. Are we going to add or subtract? To eliminate the 2x, we're subtracting. 2x take 2x, no x. We've got 1y take -6. 7y. What's 8 take 22? Oh my goodness. Minus 14. Isn't that nice? Therefore, what must y be? It is not -7, -2. Nearly done. Done all that hard work. But let's find your x value. Which equation do you want to pop it back into? We're going to the top. Which, this one or this one? You go first. I'd go second. Because it's x minus 3 times -2, so plus 6. Equals 11, but if you want to choose the first one, absolutely do it. You'll get the same answer I get. And you go, well, I preferred that. We'll do it. Done. And yes, Ari, it equals +5. Sorry. Good catch there, Ari. +5. Instead of checking the back of the book, can you please grab your calculators? All right, you go into equation. We have simultaneous. Number of unknowns is 2. And then we're popping in our value. So 218. Do that again. So we go into menu. Equation. Simultaneous. Number of unknowns is 2, and we're going to go 2, enter, 1, enter, 8, enter. What's our other one? 1 minus 3, 11. So we're going to go 1, negative 3, 11. We press enter, enter, and we can see that we were correct. Our x value is 5, our y value is minus 2.